word that I want to share with you this morning. And I'm not quite sure how to pronounce this, but Sipson or some crazy thing like that. But anyway, this is our word for the day. Yeah, now I know you're going to want this, and you probably already have it and you don't even know it. But as time goes on, all will be revealed. Isn't that great? So, passion is the theme for the month. And what I really liked about it, I've never given a talk about passion before. I've talked about a lot of things, but it seems there was some repetitiveness in the system that I was in. And so I welcomed this as a great challenge. And when it first started out, it was all kind of mumbled and jumbled together, and it didn't make much sense. But then I asked myself the question, what is passion? And are we born with passion? Are we born with passion? I'd say a lot of us could be born with a talent. You know, there's basketball players and musicians and artists and mathematicians, and there's all kinds of people who are born with a talent. And some people choose to work on that talent and really, maybe it becomes their passion. You know, and that's really what that's all they do or all they want to do. But sometimes we're not born with that talent. We're not born with that. So we have to kind of look around a little bit, and our passion needs to be developed. Now, how do we develop that? Well, when I started this, I started thinking very lofty and how those things that we can't reach out and touch. But, you know, we get our passion from teachers. We learn something from them. We get it from our friends. Maybe they mentioned something. We get it from reading a book. Maybe it's even watching a movie or listening to some music that we discover that there's something there that we really want to investigate and put our hearts into. So I asked myself, well, what is passion? And according to Webster, he said passion is a powerful feeling, very powerful feeling. So I thought, well, that's powerful feeling. So I looked up love just to see what Webster said about love. And Webster says it's an intense feeling. So I'm like, okay, there's the difference. Love is an intensity and passion is a power. And I like that power because we say we get a lot of power, a lot of powerful energy from the infinite creative energy force, which we call God. So I found this through my many different sources. I found this, and I was reading, and this is out of the Science of Mind textbook. And when I read it, I said, that speaks to me. The person that wrote this is very passionate. So Ernest Holmes wrote this, and it is called The Subtle Essence of Spirit Within Me. It goes like this. Subtle essence of spirit within me, flowing through me. Elixir of life in my veins, purifying me with thy marvelous life. I let thy spirit cleanse me from all false idea and thought. I let thy life flow through me in a complete and perfect whole. Ooh, wow, that sounds pretty good. I like that. Very passionate. So there's an example of how somebody took their passion and put it down on paper. But I'd like to ask the question, where does it come from? Where does this passion come from? And I've said we can get it from friends, neighbors, schools, coming to service, reading. But intuition is one way that we connect with that infinite creative energy that permeates the universe. It's everywhere. And we're walking through it, and sometimes we don't even realize it. And it isn't until we listen maybe, and we hear this little voice that says to do something. Now, I had a thing happen the other day, and I just recently retired. I was a paraeducator who worked with special ed children that had learning disabilities. And so, recently being retired, I hadn't turned my keys in yet, and I got a text message from a person at work that said, "Hey, by the way, what are your work keys?" And I didn't respond back. I knew where they were, and I thought, well, in the next day or two, I'll get over it. So my wife and I get in the car and we drive over to the school, and I drop the keys off. And on the way out, I thought I should stop by my old office and just say hi to everybody. But instead, I didn't. I drove right on by. And we get home, and it isn't 10 minutes later, but one of the secretaries, Beth, very sweet lady, puts on Facebook, "I'm all here all by myself, and it's so darn lonely." And we're going, oh, I should have listened to that little voice that said stop, just for 5 minutes. But I didn't, so I paid for it. So I picked up a book, and it said How to Speak Unity. And I thought, well, that's pretty good, because I'm going to be at Unity soon. So this book was written by Temple Hayes. I don't know, is anybody familiar with her writing? Anyway, it's a book that's called How to Speak Unity. And I pulled this excerpt out. It said, in Unity, God is not a person, but a principle. And not a judge, but an infinite power. And as long as we think of God as a person, we will restrict God to personal limitations. And I think we all agree, we don't want to, when we want to expand, when our passion is going to be like a big, powerful energy spike, that's what we need. We don't need to be squashed down like my dad. Don't play those drums so loud. In fact, don't play at all. Well, you know, okay, it's your house, so I'll play volume way. So, no limits. That's what we're after. Limitlessness, so that what we want to pursue, we can. And also in the Science of Mind, I found another little piece that I like, and it's called I Went Into a Mountain. And this has to do with intuition. It says, I have discovered a secret place within, where the thought goes into a mountain, high above the din of the world. I have found in this mountain a place of peace and rest, a place of joy and comfort to the heart. I have found that secret place of God is within my own soul. I will listen for thy voice. So that's what we have to do, is we have to train ourselves to listen, and when that little voice comes through and says, you need to turn left, let's turn left. And I would say every time I listen to that little voice, I never suffer from it. It never lets me down. I always hit the mark. But when I don't, then I get that, oh darn, if I just would have stopped and said hi and talked for 5 minutes, somebody's day would have been a little brighter. Here's another piece on intuition. This is also from the Science of Mind. This is an excerpt from a long piece. And the little piece I picked out of it, and what I really liked was, in the vast realm of thought where soul meets God, the Spirit knows. I will listen for that voice, and it will tell me of life, of love, and unity. Speak to me, Spirit. I really like that. So when it speaks, we want to listen, we want to hear it, and then we want to act on it. So, in this whole big realm of passion, I had to ask myself, well, Jeff, what is your passion? And oh my God, that wasn't a very easy question to answer. I thought about it. And I thought about it, and I thought about it. And then I thought, well, there's a lot of things I like to do, a lot of things I enjoy doing. But the one thing that I really like to do is I like to create things. I'm a very creative person. So, you can't really see it, but this thing that I'm using for a bass drum is not a drum at all. This is a shipping container.
Wow.
That I had all these pieces because I'm a drummer and I have old drum pieces. So I made this. And of course it's my brand, it's eclectic. That's my brand. And I put a little boat handle on it so I could carry it easily. And I thought, you know, there's times when I want to go and play someplace, but it's so hard when you've got all this big heavy equipment to move around. So that's one of the things I like to do. And then when I got these bowls, I had to have something to put them on. So I had to make something to support them and to display them. So my passion is creativity. Today, Celia has a necklace on, and I made that for her. I thought, oh, she's such a beautiful lady, and she deserves this. So when we're creating, I'm going to take this little piece here from a guy named Mark Allen. We make the great mistake of identifying with our mind as who we are. That's who we are. And that's what we are. When in fact, we are far greater than that. We are so much more than just our mind. So, I ran into this saying from, we have a little Facebook thing, it's called the Law of Attraction and Centering Attraction Thoughts. And so on January 7th, they posted this, and it said, I can only create within my own beliefs. A belief is only a thought I keep thinking. So I can choose my beliefs to benefit me. Why not start improving your life now? Now, now, now. And that was a quote from Abraham. So I thought, wow, that's pretty powerful. And that's true. Like I can make a drum, and I can make wood, you know, these wooden stands and stain them. But I could never make a cell phone because I don't have the knowledge, the belief, or the technology to do that. But there are people that have done that. So hooray for them, I guess. You know, I mean, you know, when I was at work, I was always getting a call. You know, I'd be working with a student, and my boss would call me, or somebody would be texting me and asking me a question, and it's like, okay, well, they're both a blessing and a curse. So we just have to live with them, huh, don't we? So, so how do we get passion? And we were fortunate enough to be in Monterey for Christmas, and we went to the Pacific Grove Church in Pacific Grove. And I don't know, Dr. Bill Little, I don't know if you know him, but really, really, really marvelous, great speaker. He had a talk that just, I mean, it had so many layers to it. It's like the old ogre, you know, in Shrek. We're like onions, we have layers. That talk had so many layers, it was unbelievable. But what I pulled out from that, and what my wife and I talked a lot about, were a piece where he said, and this is the first time I was exposed to this, but since I've seen this or heard this, I've realized there are other people who think like this too, including Deepak Chopra. So, we live by our five senses, and we comprehend our lives in that way. We pick it up, we see it, we feel it, we smell it. That's how we live our life. But God is infinite. And we have difficulty with that because we cannot experience the infinite with our five senses. It just can't be done. So, in order to experience the infinite, we have to diminish our senses. And how do we diminish our senses? We do that through meditation. Being quiet and going within. And that's our connection to that, what Deepak would call field of all possibilities, or that creative, infinite energy flow that's out there, that's around us, through us, back out to others. All we need to do is relax, and we have the opportunity to absorb that energy. So what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to do what I call the 7-minute tune-up. And it involves the bowls. And so we don't have to turn the lights off. The lights can stay up, because you can you can focus on something beautiful or close your eyes. But now I'm not going to talk you through this, but I'll give you a brief thing. I have 7 bowls here, and as Celia noted earlier, there's a bowl for each chakra. So if you're familiar with that, the 7 chakras in the body, we start at the base and we'll end up at the crown. So if you would just like to get still and quiet, we'll begin. I always enjoy that. I can't get enough of it. So, this is what we all have. You know, when we start out, it seems kind of messed up. But when we get it all together, and when we get trained on the track, what we really have is passion. Passion. We have passion. Passion for whatever your passion is. Now, I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'm going to close. But Stephen Halpern has been considered to be the father of healing with sound. And they've come up with a word called entrainment. And entrainment is an event that happens when two or more vibrating realities come into step with each other or in phase with each other. And such an in-phase system can resonate. Now, what they would do is they would hook this electrical measuring machine up to people, and I imagine it was maybe like an acupuncture points, you know, critical points on the body, and then they would play different kinds of music or different notes and different tones, and then they could measure, actually measure, to see if that part of the body was in tune with the music. So maybe not every time, but as we get more comfortable being around music and letting music come to us and heal us, maybe that's why we feel so good sometimes after we hear something. It activates those energy centers in our body, or those centers get tuned up, and your energy level rises. So with that, I'd like to say, think of that creative energy flowing around us and entwining us, around us, through us, to us. That when our energy and the energy of the universe comes together, that is where we are connected. And that's where our source is. And that's where we get our power and our energy. And see what you mean? So it is.